Hey, it's Tanya, the Money Life Coach, and I'm talking today about an emergency fund, what it is, why you need one, and what it is. An emergency fund is a buffer between you and life because, as you know, life happens. When you have an emergency fund, there's like this freedom that exists, and you just feel like you don't have to always, when something does come up, there's not this like stress around it, around like, I don't have the money. Where is this money going to come from? Or using cards or borrowing money to have to pay for something when it comes up. An emergency fund is not a savings account. This is not for like, I want to buy a couch fund or something, some sale that's going on. It's not for that. I usually put the fund, or I do put the fund, outside of my regular bank account. It's in a separate savings account. But it's not a savings account, it's an emergency fund. I put in a completely separate account outside of my bank so I'm not tempted to transfer the money for some unknown reason. And I keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in this account. 3 to 6 months of expenses, not your monthly earnings. So if you make $5,000 a month, you don't save $15,000 for your emergency fund. You save whatever your minimum expenses are. Your housing, your food costs, like the bare minimum, what you need to survive, save 3 to 6 months. And basically that's just the general rule for emergency funds. The 3 months is if you have a consistent salary. That's a good point. Savings point is to save 3 months in case of a job loss, in case someone gets sick and you need to take the time off, just certain things that could come up every once in a while. And the 6 months is for if you have an income that fluctuates. If you're a freelancer, if you work in an industry like bartending or something that's like up and down and you never know how much money you're gonna make, having 6 months will protect you in those cases. So if 1 month you have a really bad month of making money, then you can use this as a buffer in between. When you do make more money, then you put it back in your emergency fund. But the biggest thing about emergency fund is it is a buffer between you and life. It is not a savings account. It's just meant to sit there. It's money that's meant to sit there until an actual emergency happens. An actual emergency like an illness in the family, like I said, someone getting sick, a deductible that comes up, if a car gets broken, if your car gets suddenly breaks, major life emergencies. But the thing about major life emergencies is a lot of them are predictable. So a lot of them you will be able to know or have time if something comes up to cash flow an emergency. But this emergency fund is just like, it's a last minute trip. Somebody in your family is sick and you need to go help them. But having this is so important. And I definitely recommend getting your debt paid off first, having a small emergency fund in between paying off your debt as a buffer. And then once the debt's paid off, really building that emergency fund up to 3 to 6 months, depending on your income. So let me know if you have an emergency fund, what you think, if that makes sense to you, and how it would feel to have that full emergency fund in place, what that would mean for your life. Follow themoneylifecoach.com, get your free budget worksheet, and follow me at Tanya Schultz. And I'll be back to tell you more soon. Bye.